right, buddy. Welcome to Arsenal Fan Circle. Welcome to the Thursday Night Forum. And you'll see Stan is about to join us. Tony's here. And if you've seen last Sunday, maybe, Lawrence was with me last Sunday. So I don't know if it was last Sunday or the Sunday before that, Lawrence, but welcome back.
Sunday
I
before.
think it was last Sunday.
Yeah, I've been pretty sick as a dog, not feeling energetic, and Arsenal haven't given me anything really too much, Lawrence, until the last couple of match days to excite me. But
well, we did play 3 games all month. How many did we play? Was it just 3?
we played 2 games. Well, we played the FA Cup game. We want to forget about that one, right? And
yeah, well, if you think that game on Tuesday was exciting, then I think you need glasses.
I'm excited. We got 3 points. You know, Lawrence.
Yeah, I mean, a win's a win. Yeah, but for 65 minutes, I don't know what the heck we were doing. It was always sideways and backwards, and honestly, I thought it was going to be 0-0. I honestly
they
did.
got that goal when we were up 2-0.
Yeah.
Then I was worrying about us losing.
Yeah, it was just classic Arsenal. And I was more interested in the bust up between Ben White and Zinchenko at the end.
Yeah.
Look, Irish.
Yeah, Irish mocha. All right. Nice one, Tony. Yeah, we'll talk about that, Lawrence. Zinchenko is never one to be able to hold the line on offside.
Yeah.
He's always that deepest player when the ball comes into that area of the field. And he needs some serious...
But that's not his fault, though.
It's not his fault that he can't look across the line and stay ahead of the central defender who should be controlling the line. Gabriel Magalhaes or Saliba should be controlling that line.
But that first half, it was a back 3 when we were in position. I don't know why Arteta made changes to it, but to me, it still falls to he's doing what he's told, right? He's being instructed to go and attack. But we got these 2 attacking fullbacks. Could go to a back 3 and use wing backs because we got players that are good at that.
Well, I remember a famous Arsenal back 4 that consisted of Nigel Winterburn and Lee Dixon, Tony Adams, and various partners with Tony Adams. And they knew what they were doing, Tony, when it came to offside. And it's not that difficult. Offside is not that difficult.
It's what he's being told to do, right?
Yeah, but it's a case of Arteta trying to put round pegs into square holes again.
Yeah,
Zinchenko
it's like watching a game. Then you see Gabriel, you see Jesus. He's like in the middle of right on the circle, getting the ball or passing it. He's went from Lacazette's false 8 to a false 6. I don't know what Arteta think he's doing with a striker.
Look, Bernardo Silva, Man City. Bernardo Silva played against us at the Emirates last season and was able to do a job there and was able to stay in line with his central defenders. Zinchenko, I love him going forward, but he's a real liability at the back. And I know
it's for formation and what he's being instructed to do.
Right, and being instructed to do that, I mean, there's common sense when it comes to defending as well, Tony.
But
and I know
Stan, but I don't see we didn't do it last year. But you always had Zaka or whoever was on that left would drop back and cover for the fullback as escape. I don't know why Rice isn't dropping either back into the left or just straight back and forcing Gabriel out. And you got a back 3 when you need it.
Yeah, Stan, bring some order to this, Stan. I know it's left back. I know it's Zinchenko. It's not exactly a topic that you want to go over dead ground again on, Stan.
Well, for me, I was working when the game was on, so I only got to listen to bits of it on the radio and then watch highlights. But for me, and I understand what I understand what Lawrence is saying, but for me, I'm kind of at peace with the fact that Arsenal isn't as good as most people think we are. I'm at peace with the fact that we haven't got a championship winning side. So even though we were able to win, and in some cases people are saying that it was boring passing side to side, I'm looking more at the glass being half full, that we managed to win that game in spite of the obvious shortcomings that we still have in this team. Just like some of the things that you mentioned there, problems at left back, problems up front, having to rely on young players week in, week out, who are still at not at a stage in their development where they're able to put in consistent performances because they don't yet have that experience. So I'm just a little bit like, meh, when I look at it. Okay, we won. I'm glad it's another 3 points in the bag, but we're papering over the cracks. This team isn't as good as a lot of people think it is. We're not a championship winning side, and there are repairs that need to be done. So if we can still scratch 3 points in spite of that, I'm happy.
So Stan, we're gonna delve into that, but there's a big game coming up on Sunday. Can things turn around on the back of a good result against the league leaders?
Well, to be fair, I'm surprised that you're here in attendance this evening, because I thought that you would still be in mourning because Klopp has decided to call it a day. I thought you'd still be, in a dark room somewhere crying, because we all know that you're a secret Liverpool supporter, right? Don't we? So, but on a serious note, though, right? For me, with Liverpool, it's like, if we don't win that game, then we're just not ready to win this league. Yeah. These are games that you need to be able to win now. Drawing's not good enough. It's nice to get a draw. It's nice to go to Anfield and come away with a draw because it's a tough game. But, if you want to be honest about it, unless you get the 3 points, it does show a bit of a barometer of where you think you are to where you really are. So for me, this is a very important game because they're flying at the moment. And if we can come away from there after being really dominant in the game and coming away with all 3 points, then the percentages of us winning the league for me have gone up. My percentage will go up, 10, 15, 20, maybe 20%, depending on how we play.
Yeah, Sunday will be a huge barometer. And go ahead, Tony.
Isn't it crazy? You go by Rice, you go by forward / middle midfielder that you can't really
whatever
do.
Kai is, yeah.
Yeah, but you spend all this record money. You subtract Granit Xhaka, and somehow we're way worse of a team than we were last season. So Arteta hasn't learned a damn thing.
Yeah, and the news today: Hamilton to Ferrari. Interesting, BX Gunner. Yeah, Lawrence, where do you stand on this? Look, we're sitting here on the cusp of a Liverpool game on Sunday that's going to define our seasons in the league.
Yeah, well, Sunday's going to be a 6-pointer. We've got to win.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got to show up. But you know what? If we do what we did against them in the cup, then it'll be season over. We've got to get at them right from the beginning and take the chances when they come. Because they will punish us. They are a good side, even if they don't have Salah there. They are a good side.
Yeah.
And I watched the game with Chelsea. Their game with Chelsea yesterday. And we've got to make sure that we keep Nunes and Jota quiet.
Yeah. Yeah, they've
aren't you kind of shocked how fast they fixed their midfield? Just they go to summer.
I think
they go to summer and then everything's fixed somehow.
I think Liverpool are a very economical side. I think what's the guy's name from Brighton? The Argentinian player. McAllister is a great player in there who's sacrificing some parts of his game to make.
But you're leaving out part of that there, Ray, because Klopp actually basically does a job interview with his players he goes after. doesn't worry about your stats or what you look like on video. He's to sit down and see what mentality you have if you're to buy into a Liverpool way. And it really worked for him.
The only positive we've got is we're not going to show up in that Tottenham kit on Sunday.
Yeah. Look, I think the biggest thing about Klopp and Stan's having a little bit of a jab at me about being a closet Liverpool supporter, Stan. But
I don't think it's closet though, is it, Stan?
Look, they're not City, they're not Chelsea. You have to admire what they've done over the years. And Arsenal need to be fighting with Liverpool and City at the top of the league, and we need to get back to where look at the shirt that Stan's wearing right now. You know that era where we were winning league titles. You know,
and guess what we had then? We had 2 strikers on the field at the same time.
But the thing about Klopp is he's not afraid to put players in there, and it doesn't look perfect, but they get results each and every week. You know, and they're
Ray. I'm surprised you haven't been lauding the young Irish lad. I watched the highlights. I watched Match of the Day the other day, and that young Irish lad, is his name Bradley?
Bradley, yeah.
He looks like a very hot prospect. You know, he didn't look out of place. You know, and a lot of people have spoken about Arteta. You know, why is he not using any of our youth in the academy? And I've also said, well, if we have this quality in our academy, why are we wasting money on other youngsters like, you know, Tavares, Lokonga, and Marquinhos, when we're supposed to already have a conveyor belt of youngsters ready, if not for the first team, to go out and loan. And people have been saying that, you know, our youngsters don't seem to get any minutes. And there you go at Liverpool. They've got this young kid and they don't put him in, you know, when they're like 5-0 up with only 2 minutes to go. They put him in from the start against Chelsea.
Give him real minutes.
And he paid. He seemed to have paid the manager back with his performance as well, right?
Yeah.
Whereas we seem to have players. We seem to have players that are first teamers that, for example, may have been out of the squad for a while, either by injury or by being out of favour, you know, and then I see a lot of our fan base will clamour for player X, whoever that may be. Why isn't he starting? Give him a chance. You know, he's knocking on the door.
Yeah.
We missed that player. And then that player gets an opportunity and they never pay the manager back. They never come in and stamp any authority where you're thinking to yourself, wow, we definitely have to start this guy in the next game. They come in and they do nothing. Absolutely nothing. Too many times.
But yeah,
and then they're frozen out again for a while. And then they're frozen out again for a while.
Yeah, Nelson, he scores 2 goals, then Arteta's basically like, I don't have to play you anymore. You did good.
Can I raise a point?
Yeah.
A lot of my mates back home have been telling me about this kid we've got called Miguel Aziz, and he's going to be the next superstar. And he's been knocking on the door for 3-4 years. He's gone out on loan to several clubs, and now I read that we've sold him to some team. I can't remember where it was, but he's gone overseas to get
the third division, football. Spanish third division.
Yeah. Spanish third division.
Yeah.
I mean, what does that tell you about the way Arteta is treating the Hale End Academy lads?
Well, I don't know. If there was no other teams come in for him, Lawrence. You know, I mean,
but the other side of the coin is if he's gone to play professionally in the third tier of Spanish football, then you could say then that's a barometer of how good he is to be in the Arsenal squad. He seems like he's way off if he's only good enough to be in the third tier in Spain. It's not even good enough for the Championship.
See, you know, we're looking at Man City and the player Bob coming through with Man City, and we're looking at a Bradley. We're looking at a Bradley at Liverpool. Probably the truth is that, you know, these academy players are few and far between, and there are not many of them get to the point where they get a chance in the team. And we like it or not, we have 3 or 4 players who have come through the academy now. They're in the Arsenal first team,
Yeah,
and
but Arteta had nothing to do with those players.
fair enough. That's true. Yeah, but we still developed them. They still came through. Bukayo Saka, Emile Smith-Rowe,
Yeah, but
amongst
that
others.
was his question though. Is what do you think of Arteta, the way he approaches the youth, and the whole time I've been tearing him apart for not using the academy players.
Yeah, yeah, I know that's something Stan has been talking about with his list, and we'll get into that maybe next week with
The list.
the list, Stan's list.
Listen. If they're, don't get me wrong. I mean, I don't cling on to players if they're not good enough, and they've been deemed by the coaching staff that they're not good enough and they're not going to make it. Then yeah, let's just sell them, get what profit we can, and continue to scout for some more prospects that we can put into our academy. There's no point in holding on to them for and just sending them out on loan. They come back, send them out alone somewhere else. They come back. If they're not good enough, then I would rather that we just cut ties with these people.
Well, we've had some movement, Lawrence. Ibrahim's moved on. Sago Jr. has a loan now at Swansea, and Sousa has been sold permanently to Aston Villa for 12 to 14 million. I think it was something like that. So, doesn't that represent good value for the academy, Sousa?
I suppose so.
Started to happen, started to move
But
players.
that, like, if they're going for 12 million, then you're like, why aren't you good enough to get a chance in the first team? If they're that good, they should have let it go.
Team's not good enough. I mean, you have to look at maybe
in the coaching staff, guys. Hey,
Real-
I don't know. I've never seen really these kids play. I don't watch youth football, so I don't know.
Now, on the flip side, Stan, I would say Rule Walters is ready and able to get in onto the first team and play, but he's just getting a couple of substitute appearances here and there.
Can you still
Well, he's
watch
on the
him
bench.
on
Doesn't
YouTube?
come on, does he? He's on the bench.
Can
He
you
never
still
comes
watch
on,
the
does he?
academy games on YouTube, or is it not available anymore?
I've never done much.
Yeah, but
I don't have time.
no, neither do I.
Brownie said, let's be honest, Arsenal overachieved last season, and this season the competition has improved. How people can compare points totals from last season to this season and total madness. I just kind of disagree with that a little bit.
And I don't think we overachieved. I think everybody else underachieved.
Yeah, I think we overachieved till match day 29, and then we fell apart when we went to Anfield and we went to the London Stadium to play West Ham, and we drew 3-3 against Southampton, leading up to Man City, losing that game, and we fell away right at the end. So I think we are. I could be proved wrong, but I think we are gaining points at a more even keel. Now we have to.
I don't know,
up some
Ray.
ground.
If the season ended today, let's say the season just ended now today, you'd have to look at the numbers of Odegaard and Martinelli between this season and last season, and there is a good argument to say, well, why has there been such a discrepancy? And the reason I'm saying this, let's pretend the season ends today, they could go on fire from here on in and make up the numbers. But if it finished today, there is an argument to say that perhaps they did overachieve. And why is that? Are they like, look at a player like Marcus Rashford, can get double figures one season and then barely scratches 5 the next season. Inconsistent, So, is that what we have with some of our players? We haven't had many seasons to gauge it, but you have to look at the numbers at Odegaard and Martinelli and say there was a huge discrepancy between last season and this season.
I think it's because they're asked to play more defense than they have been, especially
I think we certainly have had a more circumspect appearance about the way we play this season, and that's been forced somewhat on us by the way teams are preparing against us, but also we have modified and changed our play. And a very minute detail could be the difference between a Thomas Partey in his pomp versus Declan Rice playing consistently, but maybe not breaking lines as dramatically as Thomas Partey would. you know. So our midfield has certainly changed this season, and I don't know if it's been for the better, especially if you put Kai Havertz into that midfield. Something's
But
not
but
right.
I thought with Smith Rowe in there, it unlocked Martinelli. He was doing what he did last year.
Yep.
Then Zinchenko, I thought had a very good game where he kept cutting into the middle, doing lots of passes to just wide open players. I thought he did a lot better with that as a partner. If when he has Kai, then he's not good because I don't think Kai's good defensively. So then there's like a double hole around the left side.
So I guess we're going to talk a little bit
And I
about
just
Nottingham
disagree there.
Forest.
I just want to disagree there with Tony because I think that if you look at Kai Havertz and Emil Smith Rowe playing in that same position, for me it looks like Kai Havertz is much better defensively in that position than Emil Smith Rowe is. I think Emil Smith Rowe is kind of like a bit of a Zinchenko when it comes to, you know, the defending parts that you may need to play in that left 8 position, which Xhaka was good at because he's naturally more defensive. And I think Havertz does that to a degree. But ESR is maybe offensively is better, gets into maybe better spaces and better areas better. But we're lacking defensively with ESR in that position.
Yeah, but maybe we need to take the handbrakes off a little bit, as Arsene Wenger used to say. You know, not be Kai Havertz in midfield, more of an Emil Smith Rowe stand.
Well, is the handbrake not off? I mean, apparently in the first half or something like that, the last game we had like 81 possession.
Yeah.
To me, that's playing with no brakes. There's no brakes on the car at all.
We have a lot of possession, yeah, but Tony will probably tell shots on goal, shots on target, Tony. Not
19 shots, 3 on target.
Yeah, but how can you have 81% possession and keep playing the ball sideways and backwards?
I don't get it.
Yeah, you know, I just couldn't believe what I was watching.
So
and it's
I
not like
think
Arteta
forgot the ball's supposed to go forward into the net.
Yeah,
it's
that's
like
the aim of the game.
And it's not like we were pinned back in our first half and just passing it in our own half and couldn't get out. We were up in there. We were up in their box with the ball for quite a lot. To me, yet the problem, as we've all noticed, is that we're not able to convert.
So
yeah,
go ahead, Lawrence.
No, I was going to say the aim of the game is sticking the ball in the back of your opponent's net more times than them.
Yeah.
And all I saw for about 65 minutes, we were playing the ball backwards and sideways. There was no penetration. We weren't moving forward. We couldn't keep hold of the ball. You know, Forest were happy with that. Forest just sat back and let us go at them, but we didn't go at them. All I saw was backward passing, sideways passing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, more of the same, right?
Especially in that second half, it's like they just like, oh, we're gonna do a counter the whole half, and they almost ended up getting a draw.
So Tony, I want to go around the table. Tony, would you stick with Emil Smith Rowe for Liverpool on Sunday?
I thought we looked better with him in there. I thought him and Zinchenko, but like Stan says, it's a defensive liability. But we're playing a back 3 and attack, so I don't think it matters.
On Sunday, we can't be defensive on Sunday. I mean, we're going to have to obviously, you know, stop them from scoring too many, but we're going to have to go and get goals ourselves. And
that's what I'm saying. If you play Zinchenko and Smith Rowe as attacking forward and just like the center backs and whoever's that third person drop back there.
Rice, yeah. Stan, what would you go with, Havertz or Emil Smith Rowe?
I would probably go with Havertz mainly because ESR, you know, he's probably only got 60 minutes in him. And what I mentioned about the defensive part, which could be, you know, a weak spot for us, especially against the Liverpool, right? Especially against the Liverpool, who have a very solid midfield. I would probably start with Havertz, and then depending on how the game goes, look to bring Emil Smith on for his more attacking prowess once you've settled into the game. I don't want us to give a goal away early.
Right, Lawrence, what do you think? What are you picking?
I'd have Smith Rowe in. Got to build up his confidence, give him more game time. I'm not a big Havertz fan, as you probably know.
Me neither.
But as I said, but like I said, as I told you the other day, Ray, I feel that's one of the reasons Saka has been off form is that he's been missing Smith Rowe because together they're dangerous. They feed off one another.
Yeah.
And I just feel that's going to work to our advantage on Sunday.
Yeah. I think I think Emile Smith Rowe is the player to go with, and we're going to need to attack Liverpool on Sunday, and we're going to need
Attack, Gray, like Star Wars.
All right,
I hear
I'll
what
bring
you guys.
Gary. Yeah, go ahead, Stan. Gary is here as
All right,
well.
Gary. I'm just going to say I hear what you guys are saying,
camera,
but
Gary.
I just feel because it's Liverpool, and if we are going to put down a marker, we must get the 3 points, like I mentioned earlier, and the reasons why. I just don't think that, as you say, ESR does need to be built up. I don't want to use this game to be the one where we are building a player up. I would rather start the game with someone that's ready to go, and then put him in later on if the opportunity arises, because 2 seasons ago, he was coming off the bench and scoring goals for fun and assisting for fun. And it's really good to have a player that can do that can give you that dimension from the bench.
Yeah.
So I'd like to go with him that way until he is up and running. I don't want to experiment with a player that's going to end up blowing out of their arse at some point to start at Liverpool. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, listen, with that left 8, it will be interesting. No Teabag is not fit enough yet, Fabio Vieira. But there will be consideration between Emile Smith Rowe and Havertz for Arteta in whatever way he does that. There could be a split of minutes there. The consensus.
I'm almost surprised we didn't sell Teabag before the window closed. I don't think he's ever going to be a player that anybody envisioned him to be.
How many seasons has he been with us now? 1.5, right? You kind of bought him. It's like 1.5 now. He's had a full season, but before that it was a half. I'd give him another go. Personally, I'd give him another season, another go to see how he goes with Teabag. It's only because he's like my pet project.
Gary is working. Yes, Gary is working without a camera today. So Gary, I'm not going to be able to see any visual clues as to when you want to come in. So I would ask you just to jump in whenever you want to.
Do what I do. Do what I do, Gary.
Gary gets the floating role. He's got free license tonight to jump in whenever he wants.
Yeah, no, I was going through this with a couple of guys in WhatsApp group as far as who our midfield would be, and I kind of went through, Emile Smith Rowe and Havertz, and it's like, no, okay, Jorginho and the Trossard, no, and it's like Partey. If Partey's healthy, if he's healthy, I'd rather him start the game.
Wow.
Right? I'd rather him start the game. We have, as I named off 4 players before I named Partey, we have enough coverage. If he can't make it through 30 minutes, a half, or whatever it is, you've got coverage. But if he's ready to play, I say play him, because we need to be at our best, and he gives us our best. You know what I mean? So whichever way we go, I think everybody has an issue. Everybody's named. There's an issue with them. Partey, if he gets a good 30, 40 minutes out of him, that might be just enough. That's what we might need. Because we're missing, as people said, we're missing a piece, and Partey is a big piece of a puzzle that would help open us up a little bit, and catching them early as opposed to trying to do it late might be difficult, I think, for us because of the way that Arteta works. Now, it is Arteta, so he's going to do something crazy probably, and then we're going to be pissed off, and then we're going to fall behind anyways. And it's
he stopped doing that.
He'll probably play Ramsdale as a left winger.
Yeah, I mean, but you know what? He's going to. He hasn't shown enough for us to go, all right, well, he's going to come out as strong as he possibly can. And if he can't get a full 70, 80 minutes out of Partey, he probably either won't know to pull him too soon, right? or he just won't play him at all, and then he'll play next week 90 minutes, and we're like, well, what's the point of that?
I don't think
he
he's
needs
been.
you know what, if he's been working out, he's been on that edge of like being able to come in and play for us. Let him go, because we need it. This is the game to do it, not the game after. We lose this one. We go 8 points behind them, and City still has what, a game
Game in hand.
in hand. So we can't. Can we catch both of them?
No.
Right. So this is the big test. This is like this is one of those big tests that we have this season.
Exactly.
The City match is another one, but this is a big test. This one right here.
Yep.
The City match, if we draw that one, nobody will say a damn thing. But this one, we're playing at home. We have not lost to this team in the Premier League, right? Now three tries
times.
now, right?
Yeah.
So this is the one we got to get. We have to get a win. This is one of those wins we need to get. And Arteta's got to throw everything, they say throw the kitchen sink at it. Everything that we got. If Partey can give you 30 minutes, give him the 30 minutes when it matters for us, I think, which is the start of the game.
Yeah, as I said earlier, this is a make or break point in our season. And we have thrown away 6 points, in my opinion, West Ham at home and Fulham away from home to round out our calendar year. And we need to come up with some difficult results in order just to get back into contention. A win on Sunday will just get us back into contention. We'll be in the conversation. A draw or a loss really doesn't do it for us, And
especially if we win in style as well, the manner of the win. If it's at home, like Gary said, if we can dominate and put in a top tier performance and win convincingly, my percentage of us winning the league goes up quite a bit. We, as you say, we're in the conversation. A draw, draws. Okay, we draw against Liverpool. That's almost like when you're playing like the Harlem Globetrotters. They're going to beat you. It's the fucking Harlem Globetrotters, and if you scratch out a win, you're like, oh, we hung in there, but we were never going to win. They had an off day. Do you know what I'm getting at? I don't want that anymore. We need to come away with this with a convincing win. It does so much, not just for the Arsenal as a whole, but for the actual squad, their belief. They need that.
Yeah.
Ray, did you get amnesia during your illness?
Possibly, yeah.
You're conveniently forgetting that Partey started the season as our right fullback.
I forgot to not send you the link. So yeah, I must have had it.
So what you're saying, Tony? If Partey's fit, he's going to be played at right back because that's now his position.
No, you never know.
No.
I would be dead. No, that's not going to happen. Come on.
We need Lawrence. We need a performance like we had last October, a year ago, and when we beat Liverpool 3-2. We got off to a great start in the first minute through Martinelli.
Yeah,
we need a performance like that, but it's going to take a huge effort from what we've seen from Arsenal so far this season and what we've seen from Liverpool. You would think it's not possible, right?
Yeah, well, like I said, we got off to a good start in the FA Cup game, but we just couldn't put the chances away.
We had the chance.
We cannot be we cannot be profligate in front of goal. We've got to get at them right at the start and be clinical. That's what I want to see. I want us to, when we get the chances, I want to see those chances put away.
Yeah.
I don't want us walking the ball in the net or playing triangles like we always seem to do. Get the ball in the box immediately. Don't play it amongst yourselves. Get the ball in. Once you get to the edge of the Liverpool box, get the ball into the box, and let's create some havoc.
Yeah. The sense of urgency to attack has to be there. If you think about it, the way we scored our goals, the goals in the last game, we didn't wait for them to figure out how to set up their defense. We seem to send an invitation. Look, guys, we're going to attack you guys, but just hold on a second while we actually prepare. No. We need to just attack them and take advantage of whatever they give us. They will give us a chance to score, and then when that happens, we have to be moving forward and attacking in as a group, right? Like not waiting for not put like you guys said it so many times. Everybody says it. We sit there, we're on the attack. All of a sudden, somebody just pulls up and goes backwards, all the way back to the back line. You're like, what was the point of that? No, you had nobody in front of you. Take that ball to the corner and then cut inside.
Because it's in Arsenal's DNA that they want to score the perfect goal. They want to walk the ball into the net.
Yeah.
You know, it's just this has been going on for the last 10 years. You know, even when Wenger was in charge.
But it's even
when we
worse
got to the
now,
edge
than it was then.
Yeah, because unlike other teams, once they get to the edge of their opponent's box and they put the ball over, we've got to play these little triangles amongst each other before we decide we're going to put the ball in the box.
Yeah.
The players on the other side, they're not cones. They don't just stand there and wait for us to set up. But like I see this. You watch a practice of Arsenal. They're in the box taking like 4 touches. And this is practice. No wonder we never get a shot off, and it's always blocked. How many you see every time we score a goal, and it's bang, 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 bang. Not 100 touches in the box before the shot goes off, right? It's like, you know what? They'll let the ball roll in front of behind, roll, and then they take it one time. Right?
They need to look at their center back going into this game. Gabriel had scored 3 goals in the last 4 games.
His goals aren't the goals we need. Those are like bonuses.
Yeah, they
right?
are.
Those are the bonus balls. We set pieces like that are the bonus balls. We have.
Yes.
We supposedly have attackers on our side.
We need to start playing.
We should be able to build up in open play and
Yeah.
be able to create opportunities to score. Set pieces is a bonus. That's those set piece goals are what takes you from all right, you're up 2, you're up 4. You know what I mean?
Tony,
We need to be able to score in open play. That's why we have the front line. We put all that effort into building it up. That's why Odegaard is supposed to be really good for us. That's why you got Rice, and all this thing is to create those opportunities. We don't create those opportunities, and guess what? Teams punish us every time. Every time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We didn't put away Nottingham Forest. Guess what? They get a goal late. They still have this confidence. Look, they can get something out of this.
Isn't it crazy? Isn't it crazy how this Nottingham Forest win was very similar to the Emirates game in the first game of the season? Mm-hmm. We got 2 goals up, and then they peg us back right at the end. And it's nervous time.
And and look how you can count the number of shots that we had an opportunity to score. Right? Saka had an opportunity to score. Jesus had 2 opportunities to score. Right? Yeah. Those are that third goal that we need to score. The third goal in every game that we play, whatever that is, the third goal either gets us back into it or gets us that space that we need.
It feels like we need that third goal in the first half. The way we played.
I remember when we had Ray Parler and Patrick Vieira in midfield, and they would have a crack from 35 yards out without hesitation. I've never seen, apart from Trossard, I've never seen one of our players take a shot from 35 yards to test the keeper.
Yeah, that's fair.
Rice did in that one early game this season, but
against Chelsea,
that was like a one-off thing.
Yeah, well, that was to get us out of a hole, Tony. That was we looked at in that game, and
we do it as desperation. We never do it as part of guess what? They gave us this opportunity just outside the box. I'm taking it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the thing. We are waiting for them to open the door for us, and it's like, no, take what they've given you an opportunity from the 18. You take it. They put you in a box. You take it one time. Forget it. If you're only one there, who cares? Guess what? You should be screaming at your teammates when you're sitting up there in the attacking third and you look over, there's nobody there. This is, we're fighting at the end of the game because we can't close out the game. But in the middle of the game, when Saka turns and goes up the pitch and looks inside, there should be somebody in the middle there. I don't care who it is, right? When
Yep.
Jesus turns and gets that ball at midfield, he should be able to look up and see two wings flying down the field. You know what I mean?
Teabag.
Like that.
You like
Isn't
There,
that,
Brad
there is
Pitt.
nobody. There is nobody at our team with that name.
Teabag.
But-
So nope, nobody. There's nobody. I've never heard them say whatever you
Teabag.
just said is coming
Tony.
out onto the pitch. It's never been
Tony.
said.
But you
Tony,
had
Teabag.
you had Smith Rowe that slowed down to let everybody get into a box.
Tony missed an opportunity there.
Martinelli just goes forward. What did I miss?
I thought you were going to tell Gary that Fabio Vieira actually liked a
being called
Instagram post.
teabag.
Yeah, when he's calling teabag. But Gary knows that, right?
No, but no, he doesn't.
Look, in the FA Cup tie against Liverpool, we played really, really well, but we just didn't pull the trigger, as Lauren said. We didn't take those shots. First time, as Gary would have said, first time shots, and Havertz refused a couple of them. We are very capable of beating Liverpool on Sunday if we put it all together.
Yeah, you had Klopp at the end of the last game saying he was surprised what Arsenal did in the first half. He's like, we made the changes. Then they made the changes, but he was surprised how basically poor Arteta's changes were.
What he was not surprised was the quality of chances we spurned in that game as well. But look, against
it's every game though, right?
Against Chelsea midweek, Mudryk missed a very presentable chance against Liverpool. So, Liverpool
we don't actually care, right? That what is that meme that's going around? We really don't care about everybody else because guess what? We're doing more than enough of not scoring all by ourselves. I at this point I could care less what anybody else is doing because we are so inept inside that box. It's not good.
It shows you are because we're getting 20 plus shots every game and you're getting 3 to 5 on target. I don't see how.
All right. So, has the evidence of the last two games changed your minds in any way?
Nope. Okay. We're still not there yet.
Prove it, right? Yeah. You got to prove it.
As Tony said, we need to have 10 shots on target, and most of our shots should not be blocked. We should just be missing them. The reason why we've seen so many blocks is because we've taken too many touches.
I mean, and so many of those.
Well, I mean, we're not taking shots. We're not taking shots to miss the goal. The aim is to put a shot on goal to score a goal.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know why can't
nobody's told Arteta. Can you tell Arteta that? Because he is.
I'd love Arteta. I'd love Arteta to tell me what the process is because I still don't know what I don't know what the process is. I don't think even he knows what the process is.
We want to believe.
You're not supposed to ask what the process is. You're just supposed to trust it. Apparently.
Yeah. Well, I'm not. I don't.
What is it they say? The Fight Club quote. You're not supposed to ask about Fight Club or something like that.
Yeah.
Don't talk about it.
First rule of Fight Club is you don't talk about Fight Club.
There you go.
Or I would say, Gary, we want to believe.
The same as the first rule. That's why you don't get any Fight Club podcasts.
We want to believe. BX said, I don't believe we overachieved as I see it, as we raised our levels last season. If you bring them through properly, you will get dividends. If you destroy their confidence, you get what you ask for. That's with younger players.
I still say everybody else underperformed. I don't think we overperformed.
But that's what happens in the league, Tony.
Well, if you look at the league, everybody. It's not like
people rewards consistency.
What we did with the points doesn't happen. That has not been replicated that often, right? That doesn't happen to 50 out of 54 points, whatever it was. That's really good. So that is an anomaly that doesn't happen all the time. So the fact that we're not there is not like a surprise. It's just, we had our chance, we didn't take it. Everybody else is struggling this season. Everybody else has struggled this season. At some point, you have to pick it up. And I always talk about getting better each game, right? We didn't do that. We were just basically stagnating for a long time, and now we need to pick it up we don't have time for like waiting anymore. Now Arteta, he needs to find his best 11. Screw who, I don't care who it is. Like if his best 11 means Saka has to play as a fullback, so be it. But he needs to find his best 11 and see this thing out. You know what I mean? That's where we are right now. We're in desperate measures require desperate execution. If
Break
Partey
Latin.
give you if Partey gives you minutes, you take those minutes. Wherever it is, you make sure you put those minutes in the best place, right? He needs to play CDM, right? Not who cares if I don't care who's injured on the the fullbacks. He has to play at number 6 if you want to get the best. We can't be wasting these games anymore. Every game, all
Every
3
point counts.
these 3 points matter
Yeah.
from here on out.
Yeah. Stan?
I'm just going to say what I'd like to see, especially in this Liverpool game, is Gabriel Jesus follow up a good game with another good game. It seems to me that I can't seem to remember the last time that I saw him score a goal for Arsenal, and then in the next game he scores another goal. He goes back. He follows games up with goals. He never seems to do that for me. He probably has, but it's obviously not near enough as what it should be for somebody that plays through the middle and is supposed to be the striker and the front man for a top Premier League club.
But Arteta
That's
has
what I'd
been
like to
playing
see,
as
and I don't think I'm asking
the
too
false
much to
six,
see that.
Stan.
No.
What's
He
that,
had an assist against Crystal Palace, followed up by a goal for
But
us.
you know what? The most we've seen from him is when he had to sit, when he was forced to sit. Think about it. That what we saw when he came off the bench, when he had to sit and watch Trossard play. We need to see that from day one, from minute one. Like I don't know why it's so difficult. He's done. This is his second year in a row. He's sat Martinelli, whatever the reason. He's brought him back, and bang, we've seen like, all right, that's what we wanted to see this continue, right? So whatever he needs to bottle that, right? He needs to bottle that and get it going because that's what we. And the same thing needs to happen to Saka. He won't do it to Saka because he doesn't trust Saka will come back to him. You know what I mean? That's his problem. He has no confidence that if I sit Saka, he will not come back. He will not give me the same. And it's like, dude, he's not giving it to you right now. Sit him, piss him off, bring him on. I bet you'll see something different.
He's got to play Jesus at some point on that right wing. Sometime. He's got to.
Tony, you really love your formations and moving players around.
No, but he is not a striker, right? He's
no.
a winger.
We know when we get a striker in, Eddie's out, Jesus is out, and then striker's playing. It just matters a lot who that striker is going to be. Steven said here the Arsenal
needs to be Trossard, right?
If Partey ever starts at right back again, we will not win anything. Arteta killed him doing that. He covered the third most ground of any player in the team when he went down. Look, that was a consequence of Gabriel as well.
That was stupidity. That was stupidity on your manager, your uncle. All right. You don't take Partey who's limited in minutes. Every season you've had him. And then say, guess what? I'm going to play you out of position to start a season, and it won't have any effect. Well, guess what? It did.
You're using a Ferrari to tow a cart. That's what you're doing. You're using a Ferrari to tow a cart.
No. So that's what for me. It's easy, right? Partey is limited, right? And it's all about minutes. So when you use him, you have to use him in the best. Like he should be a player that rotates in and out of the lineup easily, right? Jorginho can't give you a full back-to-back games anyway. So then you can rotate Jorginho in and have Partey in, and then you've got both of your players in that CDM position rotated in and out. Meanwhile, you've got Rice figuring out the 8 and then gradually moving into that 6 when you need him, right? We don't do any of that. So there's no planning for the future. My understanding is Rice is a good 8. He will be the 6 for Arsenal soon, but not when you have a healthy Partey and Jorginho at this point, right? Because they
healthy Partey.
That's what. Well, he was healthy to start the season, and then we killed him. As far as I'm concerned, we killed him. We killed him. You know what I mean? So I kind of feel like, you know what?
Available.
Yeah, no, he wasn't available after you killed him. Yeah,
He couldn't deal
sometimes I
with the
literally
habitat
forget.
of being on the right wing or right fullback.
I believe playing him out on the right back had detrimental effect on the player.
Mate, it
You
had
know
a
what I mean?
detrimental
I
effect
believe
on me.
so. Well, everybody was sitting there going, "What in the world are we doing? We got our number 6 playing as a right back. How in the world is that going to benefit? Put Rice back there if you really think. You're telling me that Partey can play as a right back and Rice can't? Wrong.
Here's the thing, right? Why? And it's another thing, right? The next time we go into the market to buy a player, which will probably be the summer now, there's a couple of things that I really want to be the prerequisite. And if I was the owner of the club, I would sit Mikel down and I'd say to him, right, here's the number one thing, right? The next time I give you money to go and buy a player, I do not want you to buy a player that is lacking in confidence. When you buy a player, he needs to be fucking abundant in confidence. He needs to have confidence falling out of his pockets. The next thing is when you go and buy when you go and buy the next thing, when you go and buy a player for the position that you want them for. What I mean is, Mikel, don't buy a player that plays at centre back and right back and then play them at left back. Don't buy a left centre back and try to play them at left back. Why is it that you cannot buy a player that you've seen play at their club in their position, and when you speak to them and say, "I want to buy you," and the player says, "Well, why? What is it that you want me to do?" Is it so difficult to say, "I want you to do exactly what you've been doing"? That's why you've caught my eye. That's why you've caught my eye. I want you to just take that and do it for us. Why do you have to try and reinvent the player?
Isn't that the problem, though, Stan? You're doing all these utility players that are like
ridiculous.
They're good in 3 or 4 different roles.
Example: why do we have to have a midfield player that starts in defense and comes into the midfield and can't defend? Why can't we have a defender that can defend but is comfortable going into the midfield? Do you see the difference? It's a slight tweak. I don't get it.
You're crazy. You're asking our defenders to defend. I just don't get it.
I know. Right? I know. Take me out into the town square and throw cabbages at me while I'm in the shop. I mean, what a crazy thought.
You want a striker who scores goals. That's what you want. That's
what
you want a goalkeeper.
Gary, don't go too far, Gary. You're going too far now. You're going too far. We need a striker that can help out in defence and play as a fucking full 6.
We need a goalkeeper. We need a goalkeeper who can put the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah, I thought we would never see the day that our striker, like I said, we would be playing and making a tackle on the back line. On the back line, he made a tackle on the back line. Did you see that? On the back line, we supposedly have Saliba and Gabriel, and our striker is making a tackle on the back line. How in the world?
Seriously, I want Arteta in the summer to go out and get players who've got experience of playing in the Premier League. Okay, I'm tired of these experiments where we sign these kids from Brazil or anywhere else in the world and that being touted as the next superstar. And then the next thing you know, we loan them out to a championship team or League One side for 2 years. We never hear from them. And
or the team sends them back because they're no good. They're not good enough. They send them back.
And Lawrence is talking about Ivan Toney, I think.
I thought when Marquinhos played, he did a good job, but Arteta didn't trust him.
2 goals in 2 games.
He's been shocking for both Norwich and I can't remember the team we lent him out to. I think it was Nantes. Apparently he failed at French team. He apparently failed there as well. So why were we touted that this kid was going to be the next superstar? And Arteta loans him out to 2 teams, and he can't do the business.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
That's
Exactly.
why he is still, like we were talking about earlier. It's like, why didn't you bring the
Exactly.
academy kids in?
Another waste of money.
Yeah.
Instead of
Yeah, I
spending
can't believe
Another
we
waste
spent.
of funds.
Here's a free player. No. We're just gonna spend $3 million on it. Wait a second. What?
what?
He's as young as all of your academy players that have actually played for you. I don't understand what we saw this, right? And we saw this in the preseason. We saw Winery, we saw Skelly, and we saw was the other and Walters all play. And I don't know about you guys, but I like what I saw. We've never seen him again. We've seen him
Yeah.
sit on a bench and watch the team go 5-0, and the coach go, "Nope, you know what? Gabriel needs 3 minutes at the end of the game." Like these make no sense.
Maybe we've got a gap
I
in
mean,
that age. Like if you look below the first squad and you look at the different levels of youth, maybe we've got too many of our prospects that are looking that we hear about that I never watch because I don't watch them, but the ones that we hear about, the Skellys and the Sagos and the Noirs, maybe they're in that 16 to sort of 17 to 18-year-old bracket, and we don't have enough that are in like that 18 to 20 bracket, 21, if that makes any sense. And so they're deemed as not good enough. I mean, how old is that kid that played for Liverpool last night? Bradley from Ireland. 20.
20.
Okay. Well, there you go, right? You know what I mean? He's not like he's 16, 17.
He's played a number of games on loan as well already.
Yeah, but look how many
International
16
player.
and 17-year-old players Liverpool's have played, especially in the cup.
Yeah.
Beaten us.
I mean, I remember Arsenal coming out here one year. We played Bayern Munich at where the Galaxy play, and it was the first time I saw Chuba Akpom play. Right, we played. I think was it Bayern Munich or no? It was that was the.
He scored a goal.
That was a couple of years. Yeah, Chuba Akpom. We're playing the Mexican team whose name I forgot. Chuba Akpom at the game of his life.
Yeah.
And Chivas.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone was telling me, they say, you watch him, he's going to break into the team. He's going to be the answer to our goal scoring issues. You never heard from him again. You know, next thing you know, he's been loaned out.
I heard something the other day, funnily enough, that he there was a team looking at him to come back. 2 teams were looking at him. Where is he playing now? He's where he is now. I think he's doing really,
Ajax.
He's doing where?
Ajax.
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 Yeah.
Well, I've not kept tabs on him, but I was reading the other day that he's actually doing wherever he is now. He's doing well, and there were 2 teams that were considering to go for him. Obviously, clickbait, transfer window stuff, but he was being linked to Wolves and someone else. So I don't know how he's doing.
I think it was Forest. I think it was.
Yeah, it was Forest actually. I think it was Forest.
I would like to go into an alternate reality where Emery gets backed.
Every
Emery
night
gets backed, and he has this good group of kids that we supposedly have.
I'd like to go back to George Graham.
But
yeah.
But who's fucking up here? Is it a big fucking German or is it Arteta? One of them's not doing their job.
Maybe the quality of the players just
not good
enough, Tony.
No, Wilshere's is in charge of one level, isn't he? Is it 18s or 16s? He's at one level.
18s.
I'm not sure.
18s.
I'm not sure what Mertesacker was. Mertesacker with who's he with? Because it's all different levels, right?
BX,
he's like the head of.
BX gonna say, why are Wilshere and Mertesacker guiding these players if they won't have a path to the first team? Well, if you don't have a path to the first team, you can generate some money from moving an academy player on to another.
How old is Marquinhos?
He's 20, I think.
Yeah, I think
he's 20.
I think he's 18.
So he's slightly older than some of these young ones that we have at the moment. I think there's like a gap in the age where we're missing. We don't have enough quality in that sort of like 18 to 20-year-old. You know, like
Is that where the criticism?
Yeah,
like that level
Is that
Eddie
where the
Nketiah
criticism
and
is coming
Balogun
from?
came from.
Yeah.
Stan,
Sorry?
like 3 years ago, we went out and we bought these 7 guys in that age group, like 18 to 22, and none of them have ever appeared in the
But-
club.
Like Dan Crowley.
Stan, is that why we're getting criticized now? Is that why Arsenal fans are criticizing Arteta, Mertesacker not using the academy kids? When you hear about
Well,
Bradley and you hear about Bob,
But they're older, aren't
I-
they? We
I-
just said these kids are about they're kids, but they're 20. They're young men. Ours are still kids. They're 16, 17,
is that
18.
the reason? Is that what's happening really? You know?
Probably. They don't want to overexpose them. They probably don't want to, you know, put them in the man's game, and they come on and they have a bad game, and everyone's going, "Fucking hell, he's shit, isn't he?" Do you know what I mean? All on social
Wait,
media.
wait.
You know, people are very reactionary.
Why can't
Arsenal
Real
went-
Walters, Tony? Why can't Real Walters get in a few minutes?
What I get is here we break the record for the youngest Premier League player, and you never see the guy again.
Yeah, but if you remember, I mentioned this before. Nwaneri
Yeah.
played like 5 minutes against Brentford last season,
Yeah.
and Arteta did that because he wanted to reward him for doing so well. He wanted to show him what it was like to be part of the first team. So that's why he played the final 5 minutes. But I haven't seen him play up for us since, except for a pre-season game.
And it'll be a few years till we
So
do
that
see
one
him.
on who's
Well,
always
you know
on the
what?
bench,
I was,
right?
sorry. What I was going to say is, instead of if our academy is in the state it is, meaning we're 2 years off from where our players need to be, so what they try to do, of course, was look at your zombies, your Nuno, your Nuno Tavares. Like, look at some of those players, and you're like, they went and that's what they tried. They tried to buy those types of players when in reality they were already still working with 20-year-olds in Saka and Emile Sufro at that
Martinelli.
point. They
Martinelli.
needed needed to instead of buying those buying those players, maybe buying one solid player for around 30-40 mil, so that they had a player that actually knows how to play the position, as opposed to trying to fit. Like, they're buying Zombie and and those players they're no any better than our academy players, right?
Yeah.
They're not, from what we got out of them, not like Zombie needs to play. He's not going to play with us, right? He's playing now with Luton. He looks better because he's playing, but that's
He made
what
a
you
nice
do to
pass the other week. It's that pass he made. He made a
Yeah.
really good pass
but
for
that's
that
because
goal.
he's playing. He's not going to play for us because we
I noticed that.
need somebody who can play today, not somebody who's a year or two away from now, right? So I think that's where they went wrong. I think they needed to spend a little bit more money and not take these risks on young players, because every young player they take a risk on, they don't have it. They're already trying to figure out what they have with the players they have right now, and then going out to buy another project. I call them projects, right? It hasn't worked. All of them have not worked.
What
Nope.
gets me is
None of them. Not
you're
one.
sitting there.
Correct. None. None of them.
You're sitting here in
How many times can I say that?
January. You're sitting
None.
here in January, and
Nada.
then you have Edu and Arteta saying that you can't buy a player that upsets the squad or the project.
Yeah.
And that's what we sold, Chambers and whoever else we sold. Then we had the defensive injuries, but it's just. But it's just crazy.
Yeah, but Tony, do you know how many of them actually worked out? None. That's what
You know what? I think they should. I think they should scrap the January transfer window and have it done the way it was before, where you could do any business throughout the season until the end of March, beginning of April.
I was thinking about that 2 days ago. I was thinking about
great minds think alike.
Wasn't
Stan.
that in the? Was that as far back as the
Like that.
'90s when we got Chris Kwame, and we were in the
I think
lower?
so. Yeah, John Hodgson.
Yeah,
It was
Hearts
like
until we were in the
it
lower
was later than the
regions of
90s. That was still going into the early 2000s, man. I think
really.
you could. Yeah.
I mean, I remember us getting one of the best signings we ever did on transfer deadline day back in the 80s. This is going way back. I don't know if Stan remembers this. This was when we signed Peter Nicholas from Crystal Palace.
Peter Nicholas. No, I don't remember that. I don't. I tell the truth.
Yeah, well, I'm giving my age away. It was a transfer deadline day signing in April.
I don't even remember him playing for Arsenal. I was alive at the time.
Yeah.
I don't even remember Peter Nicholas.
Yeah. We signed him. He was a midfield player. He was a hard midfield player who played for Crystal Palace with Kenny Sansom.
Okay.
And Kenny Sansom joined us in a swap deal for Clive Allen in 1980. And at the end of that season, Terry Neal went back to Palace and bought Peter Nicholas.
Was that the Clive Allen deal that didn't really happen?
I'm sorry?
Clive Allen deal where it didn't happen. We bought him.
Yeah.
He went without even playing.
Yeah. But apparently Terry Neal used him as bait because the story is God, who was the QPR chairman? Jim Gregory didn't want to do business with Crystal Palace. I don't know what the reason was, but he had a falling out with Crystal Palace. And Crystal Palace wanted to buy Clive Allen. And the chairman of QPR said, no, you're not having him, right? So we bought Clive Allen, who only played one half of football in a pre-season friendly at Aberdeen.
Right.
And the next thing you know, Terry Neal did an exchange deal with Crystal Palace with Kenny Sansom coming out.
Kenny Sansom. Yeah. That was mad.
Yeah, but I don't know why we don't take that American example of having like the cutoff where you can just trade players or buy players. I think it's a better system.
Yeah, but I just think this January transfer window, it just doesn't work. You know, no clubs do business in January. You've basically got 1 month to, get yourself ready for the final stretch in the season.
Yeah.
And it's just a waste of time. It's too much stress. You get all these rumors, about we're being linked with certain players that aren't true. And, it's the same thing every year. Just scrap the January window. Let's just have one transfer window from the start of the season till end of March, beginning of April. Okay. And that way, every team knows who they need to strengthen their side.
And like this year, you had basically all the teams couldn't buy anybody because they're in the financial.
Well, Chelsea.
Really,
Yeah.
There's not been a lot of movement in this window at all, other than from Arsenal players from the academy. So, yeah, it's really been
that's
quiet over at the studios.
It's like every window we're selling more and more of our academy players, and you never see them on the pitch. Even going into the training during the summer, you don't see it. You don't see those guys play.
As Moss said, it's a lot of loans going on now in this January window. All right, so Tony, Gary, Stan, go ahead.
I was just going to say this profit and sustainability has really killed this transfer window because you only have to look at Newcastle, who are the richest club on paper. Do you know what I mean? Like they're literally using $100 bills as kindling in their fireplaces over there because they can't be bothered to go and carry the wood in. They just put money in, let's burn that. but they have to sell players before they can bring anyone in. I mean, that is just ridiculous. If you look at it as that as an example, the richest club in the world financially could not bring in any new players unless they sold players from their existing squad.
Yeah.
That's just nuts.
But if you look at that even deeper, Stan, they have 80% of the wealth of a league. Their owners are worth that much compared to all the rest of the owners. They got 80% of the wealth of a league of 19 other teams. I mean, so that's like each team getting like 1.5% of the total.
And I'm all for it. You know, if you're worth X amount and you want to spend X amount, then so be it. And if other clubs want to whinge about it, my answer is to go and get better owners. Go and get owners that can match them. You know, it's like when you see a female actress say, a female actress will say, "Well, I was in the same film as this male actor, and I found out he got paid 3 times more than me." My answer to that is get a better agent. Get a better agent who will get you a better deal, and then you'll be sorted. You know?
Yeah. The thing, of course, with Newcastle is there's no market for the players. The window is dead this season, and
killed it.
You know, financial fair play, and they haven't gone down the road of Man City. You know, who have.
And have you heard about Chelsea today? They're saying that Chelsea are looking at, you know, their charges are coming up, and they're saying that their charges are more in breach than Everton was. I just read that this morning. So it ain't looking good for Chelsea, and I don't care.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I actually find it quite heartwarming. That's just me.
Did the British government on purpose just say, "Oh, let's get them the worst owners available"? Because they were ones that picked after the meeting. They picked the owners from the LA Dodgers, and he's been horrible.
Is it so, Tony, is it kind of heartening that Martinelli has come back a little bit with 2 goals against Crystal Palace and an assist against Nottingham Forest? Am I grasping the straws here? I see Lawrence shaking his head a little bit. Martinelli.
Yeah, but to me, like I said, I think Martinelli looked better Tuesday when he had Smith Rowe there than he has the entire time.
Yeah.
And you still had Zinchenko. Zinchenko was back into that, cutting into the middle of the park and getting the ball into the box. He was doing great at that. Just nobody was scoring goals.
Lawrence, Martinelli got a reaction out of you.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, those 2 goals against Crystal Palace just papered over the cracks for me.
They were gimmies, weren't they?
Mean, yeah, I mean, they were both goals were identical, right?
You'll never see that again.
Yeah, and as I said, Tuesday, it was just, you know, I do love Martinelli. When he's on top form, he is lethal. He is lethal.
Yeah.
I mean, I still remember that goal he scored at Chelsea, where he ran the whole length of the pitch, sold one of their players a dummy, and put the ball in the net. Yeah. You know, but as I said, he just didn't do anything on Tuesday. I just didn't see anything from him on Tuesday. I mean, he does need a couple of goals to boost his confidence, you know. Yeah, he scored 2 against Crystal Palace, but they both came in the 90th minute.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he was very fresh. I mean, he came on with 15 minutes. He just came off the bench, right?
Yep.
I mean, I hope he does score on Sunday. Nothing will give me greater pleasure, but you know, just like the rest of the team, there's been a dip in form.
Would you sell him if somebody comes in for $50 million in the summer?
Tony's trying to get rid of Martinelli.
Yeah. You know what?
Someone's got the dosh, if someone's got the dosh, yes.
I don't know why. No,
It's another one of Tony's takes. You know what I mean?
No. We just.
This is the guy who said Saliba would never play for Arsenal.
Yeah. No, I don't think
It almost happened, Ray.
I don't think selling Martinelli, Saka, and Saliba is actually an option for Arsenal.
It's because your Japanese right back
That to
was
me makes no
gonna
sense.
stay healthy.
Yeah, for me, it doesn't make any sense to sell those three
Saliba-
players. You're never going to have an opportunity to have players like that
Oh,
on your team all at the same time, at the same age, growing together. It just makes it's you're supposed to build around them and make it easier for them, not
Yeah.
like punish the rest of the team by selling one of them. You know what I mean? Like, if Jesus isn't the one, then you need to change it. If Erdogan is not the one, you need to change it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they did like we had our our best years in a while with Saka there, and we didn't improve on that position, right? We needed
Yeah.
depth. We needed depth in the midfield. We went and got Rice. Made sense. Once again, we have nobody behind our center backs right now. All right, what are we doing? Get rid of Holding, get rid of Chambers, and we replaced them with what?
Kivior and White.
No. White is not.
Timber.
Come on, stop it. He's a right back until he's not. Right? You in this. He can play there. No.
I want to get back. I want to get
cannot-
back to that Saliba thing.
He cannot play two positions at the same time, so he cannot be our right back and our center back. I'm sorry, it
But
doesn't work
hasn't
that
this
way.
year showed that we've overpaid for him? The $50 million. He hasn't looked good.
Ben White.
You know what? I
Ben-
think
Ben White has not looked
I think
good.
once again it's one of those things where we've improved. We've improved. We've seen that we've improved as a team, and some players are starting to get weaned out. All right, and
Yep.
we just need. And this is where was it? Tom Canton always says when we bring a player in, they need to push a player to the bench. In most cases, right? You brought Timber in, he pushes somebody to the bench. You brought Rice in, he pushes somebody to the bench. Harris hasn't pushed anybody to the bench. He was just given a position. Raya was just given a position once again. He hasn't really pushed Ramsdale to the bench, right? But that's what we need. We need the Timbers and the Rice type of deals. Like I would have rather got if Madison comes in, well, we sitting him. If Dooku comes in, he might be part of a rotation, but we're not sitting him like we're like our other players, right? I think that's the problem with what Arteta has done. He hasn't brought in players that actually he goes, damn it, I have to start you. I have to. I have no choice. Like you need to start for me. Like Trossard needs to start for Arteta. I think he's kind of realizing that now. You can't have a Trossard on your team and not play him. It makes no sense. Right? You have to play Trossard. Like at some point, hopefully, Emilsworth Rowe is in that same state, right? Like last when he was healthy, right? And he came off the bench and he gave us 10 goals that season. He played, right? He knew he was going to get his minutes, right? And he performed when he did.
How many players do you think Arteta trusts?
Oh, Stan's list.
8? Is there 8 of them he trusts?
He probably has 10, 11, 12 players he trusts.
I don't think he has that number. Because think about what you're talking about. Like he trusted Xhaka, right? Xhaka gave him everything, gave him 110% every time he was on the pitch, right? That's the players that he trusts. Those type of players.
Can I?
And I don't think we have
Can I
that
ask
many
Gary?
players. Yeah.
Yep.
Can I ask Gary a question?
Yeah.
Okay, we bought Trossard because Mudryk decided to go to Chelsea.
Yep.
Do you think Trossard's a better player than Mudryk?
Yes, and you know what? And as Mark and as
Mudryk.
Stan has said multiple times, Arteta has lucked up so many times. Think about it. Think about how many times since he got here he lucked up. Gabriel probably would have never started if Luis never got injured. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's from day one. And he's been lucking up every time to start a season. He's lucked up, and we're like, okay, that worked out, right?
Gods.
Every time we have a start of a season,
Boomerang goes away.
you think think about it, if we were fully healthy. Do you think Timber? Do you think Timber would have? Timber may not have started for us if we were healthy. You know what I mean? He started. You know what? That's kind of what I feel. I feel Arteta he scouts these players really well, and then he doesn't really. He does all the work, and then he doesn't trust himself, right? You did all that work. You got Timber in there. Everybody said that's a good pickup. I have a feeling we just lucked up that he was able to get some significant playing time, and he showcased what he had. And we
Can
got
I
to
have,
go like,
can I have
yes.
my say on Martinelli?
Welcome,
Before we
Tiger.
move on to further.
Yeah.
Because I do have a couple of things to say about Martinelli before we move on too far.
I wanted to get back to Saliba, but go ahead. Martinelli, yeah.
I have two things. So the first thing is, right, Tony, do you know what happens when you say that Gabriel Martinelli should be put on the transfer list? Do you? Do you know what happens when you come onto a podcast and say that Gabriel
I know what
Martinelli
happens. I know
should
what
be
happens.
sold?
I get on your list.
Tony, you just made the list. Now,
Gary
the
fixed
second
his
thing
camera.
is,
No, you know what? I was kind of.
Gary,
I'm going to say this. Don't tell anybody.
Gary, do you want to borrow some of my hair?
I was trying to finish up my work. Nah, this is how it works, man. This is how it looks, man. You know what? I actually shave this, so I can grow it to look kind of like what you got.
Man.
Gary, I'm getting my hair cut.
I get the best locks here on this panel.
Yeah.
I'll send you some of the grey.
I got
So the
enough
second
grey.
thing,
No.
right?
Go ahead.
Here's the second thing I wanted to say about Gabriel Martinelli, and I really like him as a player. But I do believe that if he was a player for any other big team, say a Liverpool or a Man United or a Manchester City, he wouldn't be starting every week.
Yeah, it'd be
you would see him. You would see him being used in a similar way to how Man United, I say, using a Garnacho, keeping him hungry.
I disagree because.
No, think
hold
about
on,
it.
let me finish. Right,
no,
be keeping him hungry.
Foden's the player you're thinking of. That's how.
But let me just say, right, there'd be more experienced player probably that would have a starting berth. He would be coming off the bench. He'd have opportunities where perhaps there'd be a spurt of 2 games in a row as a reward. You'd see him play, then he'd be taken out. He wouldn't have to play every single week like he is for Arsenal. But that's the road that we've decided to go down. And I think that the reason that a big club doesn't play a player like that every single week is because no matter how good they are, at that age, there's going to be inconsistencies where they just ain't going to give you that. They ain't going to give you that talent because of their age, and that's where we're suffering a little bit. I think with Gabriel Martinelli.
Ray, your second favorite team, managed by Klopp. Martinelli would start every game because he's
he does like Martinelli, but I don't think
Tony. No top team plays all their players every game. It
doesn't happen. Sits on the bench.
It doesn't happen.
Especially young ones.
Luis sits on the bench.
I have no doubt that players rotate in and out of lineups because of an injury, but in reality, it's just part of a rotation because nobody does it, and it doesn't make sense to do that. You wear them out, and then you know what? You kill your bench. This is what our problem is. We start our starters, and they play all these minutes. The players behind them eventually are asked to come in there and perform. They never can, right? They never can. Arteta rotation is key to this whole thing. That's the problem we have.
Look at that young kid for Liverpool, Bradley. As good as he's playing as he looks, right? When Salah comes back from AFCON, do you think he's going to sit on the bench? He's going straight back in the team, and Bradley will go back to the bench, coming off the bench, and rotating and being rewarded in games for where they want to rest Salah and reward this young kid. That's how he'd be used. But we're not doing that.
I think,
and we're just about getting away with it with Saka. We're just about getting away with it with Saka. I think.
That's what I was asking. What's that happen first?
I think. No, I was going to say. I think Alexander-Arnold would be more worried about this Bradley kid than Salah. Yeah.
Yeah,
and that might actually help him because that might actually push him into the midfield where most people think he should go anyways. So it could be, it's one of those like, all right, if he does push him for minutes, it might be even a worse thing for everybody else because now he's playing in the midfield closer to the front line anyway. So you know what, I this is what they've created. They've created a situation where they have players that are pushing, that potentially could be pushing other players either for minutes or into other positions on the pit. That we don't have that. What player is pushing Saka what player outside of is
We've
Trossard's
got
the only
yeah.
player
we've got
pushing for minutes. Who's
Trossard, we got
pushing? Who's
Trossard,
pushing
Martinelli,
Jesus to the bench? Nobody is.
nobody.
Havertz only comes
No
in for
one.
injuries.
Yeah.
Eddie.
Nketiah only comes in for injuries, or when when we're playing. Who do we
Tom's
play?
not here.
Yeah.
Tom's
So
not here, so I'm going to
yeah.
say Eddie and Tom's.
Well, we've got to throw the kitchen sink on.
Nobody's pushing any of our plays. Jorginho, Trossard, one of our fullbacks is pushing, and Timber, and let's say Timber and Tomiyasu, because they're not around right now.
Injuries not.
We have four players. We have four players that are pushing players for minutes. That's not enough.
Right.
Your injuries notwithstanding, we can't really count on Timber yet. We've not really seen anything about this lad. I mean, when you come to a new club, you're full of piss and vinegar, and you look good, but we ain't. We got to give. We ain't seen nothing.
I'm going to go by
can be
potential
another
on what I
Tabaj.
saw in 45 minutes in a preseason, because I'm going to take that, because we have potential in him, right?
Mhm.
But in reality, we don't have enough players pushing for minutes like where Arteta
Is he
has
going to
to
do what
play
you
them.
said, though, Gary? Is Timber going to be able to, like what you said, is he going to be able to say, right, I'm pushing someone out and cementing myself in? And if so, where will it be? Because he seems to be another one where Arteta likes to do this, like he does with Tomiyasu, jack of all trades, master of none. You can play at right back, you can play at left back, you can also play at centre back. Do you see what I'm getting at? Is he going to be? Is he going to cement his place?
He needs to. It's just like when we had Saka, right? Saka played all over the pitch, right? Everybody said no, he's a winger, and I'm like, I don't care. Just put him on the pitch. If that means put him as a fullback, he's fine there. Put him in the in the midfield, fine. But eventually, he found his way. Like Timber, if he shows what he did. I know it's only been 45 minutes, but I would like to see it again. You know what I mean? So. This is Arteta.
Could he perhaps take Ben White's place? Because I think Ben White is looking a little bit fallible in that position.
Believe he's a right back anyways. I believe he's a right back to begin with.
Yeah.
Exactly. So could he take White's place, and that makes Ben White more in pecking order for his natural position, which is a centre-back at the end of the day.
Yep.
It doesn't mean that he might be able to play, because he can only play 11. You know what I'm saying? And I think sometimes he doesn't want to leave some players out. If Timber comes in, he's going to have to make a decision.
Yeah. But you know what? I'd rather have a hungry White coming in to sit Saliba, right? I'd rather have that because he can start games. He can start back-to-back games for us if he needed to. Right now, our center backs have to play every game.
Yeah.
But
right? Kiwior is not a left back. Will never be a left back. But we just put him out there because you know what? Think about that. Kiwior is terrible as a left back. Zinchenko can't defend. But we're okay. We don't miss much with either one of them.
Here we are again.
We're in a hole either way.
We're missing Tomiyasu again this season. That's what BX is saying.
Another one that can't stay fit. We can't rely on him. He's always fucking injured. And I like him. I like the guy. Like him. But
look at it.
Tony, what have you got? What have you got, Tony?
In the last 3 years, we have tried 6 or 7 players, kind of switching them between the left center back and left back, and none of them's worked out. Timber doesn't fit what Arteta does because Timber wants.
Timber does fit. For me, Timber fits.
Yeah, but not by the way Arteta plays him.
I don't know. We've seen him in a competitive.
What can he do that you saw?
He's only played 45 minutes.
No, 45 minutes in the league.
But he inverts fine. He inverted fine. He inverted fine.
Yeah, but Gary, he stopped right at the halfway line. He didn't go forward like all the rest of them.
I think he's fine. That's all I'm going to say. I think he's fine. I don't think we're going to lose by having him on the pitch. All he does is push everybody up the pitch, right? That's what I believe he does. So
going back to Tuesday, you had Zinchenko that was ahead of the whole team quite a bit of a game because that's what Arteta wants.
We don't want that, right?
We don't want it, but Arteta wants it.
So then Timber's fine because he will give that to us. Like you said, he won't cross the midfield line. So that's fine. So he's going to give you what you want. Why are you upset?
Yeah, but he's not starting if he's not listening to him.
Steven said White looked very average at centre back in the first 3 games of the season. his game right now has been hampered by his hip injury.
And we can't
you
sit
know,
him because we got nobody else.
we started.
We won't play our academy players. I mean,
we won't play Will Walters in there, Gary. But we started out the podcast with the argument at the end of the game between Zinchenko and Ben White when Saliba made the mistake. Makes sense of that.
Well, it starts with, like, as people have said, Zinchenko playing that player on side who actually makes the cross.
Yeah.
And he doesn't accept the ball. He doesn't slow him down. He doesn't do anything. It's like he's a cone. It starts there, and then Saliba doesn't do his job. So now you've got two defenders didn't do their job. So it's not just the one. You saw that you look at the last guy every time, and not what created the situation in the first place, right? Because that's almost like saying in the Liverpool game when the same thing happened, long ball out to Salah, right?
Yeah.
And Zinchenko's there, and what does he do? Nothing. He's a cone, and Salah gets right by him, and then the only person that can block it is Gabriel.
Tell us what you really think about Zinchenko.
So now we're gonna get mad at Gabriel for not blocking Salah. You just ripped Zinchenko apart.
Yeah.
Like Alonso, Alonso last year totally hated Gabriel, but
Still
now
does.
he sees that it's Zinchenko going forward, then he's on an island.
The thing
I
is,
don't
though,
think
Gary,
Alonso
Gary,
you're missing one vital point though. On social media, we're not allowed to say anything bad about William Saliba or have objective opinions.
Or Zinchenko.
No, he messed that up. He messed it up.
He's giving away penalties.
I have no doubt he'll go. I got bodied off that ball, but that guy again. That guy kills us, right? Every time he comes on the pitch, what does he do? He scores on us. Right? It's the second game in a row he's done it. Or I think the third game in a row he's done it. Right?
Third. You're right.
Right? He scores on us, and our center backs are always right in the middle of it, right? So, that's a message. Look, and this is where I don't understand how they can have that guy who can come off the bench for them and always seems to come off the bench for them. And we got Nketiah. How's that?
What?
We go to Luton. Their forward is killing us in the box, right? Killing us in the box.
Oh, okay.
And we got Nketiah. Like, tell me what? Wait a second. What's going on?
Like I said, Gary. Like I said, Gary. I could take you to Hackney Marshes on any Sunday in November and show you 10 pub players with beer guts who have got better skill and control than Eddie Nketiah.
I hope Tom is sleeping soundly right now.
But isn't it crazy? Because all of us, except for Gary, have followed Arsenal for over 20 years. But isn't it crazy during the Wenger years, you had 5 strikers. Now you got 1.
And we don't have one.
We don't have one.
We don't have. Arteta doesn't believe in it. That's the process.
Yeah. Well, we need to get a striker in the summer, Lawrence.
Well,
we need a striker in the summer.
I'm not holding my breath. Not holding my breath.
But why did we buy Kai? Because he don't check any of the boxes.
A project.
Can
I just say something?
You know what's gonna. You know what's gonna happen in this. Go on. Sorry.
Go on.
I said, you know what's going to happen in this? Oh, okay.
It's waiting for a bus, isn't it? It's waiting for a bus. 2 come along at once.
Yeah.
Lawrence, go, Lawrence.
After you. You know what's going to happen in the summer? Arteta's going to go to Chelsea and make a bid for Brozier.
He went to Fulham today.
Yeah, I know, but he's only on there on loan. But you know what's going to happen. He's going to go back to Chelsea and waste more money on another sloppy second.
So Brozier went to Fulham, did he? Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mikel didn't go to Fulham and get Willian back, because I saw that as well. But Where's Jim White tonight? That's what I want
Buyback
to know.
clause for AppCom.
Where's Jim White? Where are you?
Yeah.
So I was reading just yesterday that apparently there's a financial lever that we've activated where we've done it before and we're now doing it again, where you can get a loan, funds come in by basically overdrawing on the projected money that you're going to be receiving from TV rights. And we have just done that for, I think, a second time through Barclays Bank, which means that I think that the Cronkies are going to have cash available for the summer for big things to happen.
Okay.
But they restructured 2 years ago. They restructured the debt on the stadium. We still own the stadium because we kept taking loans against the stadium. So here we're doing it more. So
yeah, maybe they could use that funds to use in other ways. But I'm just saying it does look like that. You know, those funds can also be used to bring players in, amongst other things.
Yeah.
And the Cronkies have gone out. They've gone out of their way to put that into action through Barclays Bank. So, you know, if people come the summer are worrying about we haven't sold enough people yet, that there is going to be like maybe a bit of a cushion when it comes to dough. You know, maybe for a big striker, right?
How big? Osman or Tony?
Who knows? Who knows?
Who knows? Okay, so listen.
We need an Oliver Giroud right now is what we need. But...
Olivier Giroud. Yeah. This time Gary, this time last year, match 22, we went on a 7-game winning streak.
Yep.
Until we hit Liverpool and Anfield, and we drew 3 games leading into Man City.
Well, good thing we're not going to Anfield. And,
no,
you know
going
what?
to the Emirates.
This team should feel should have some confidence going into the game on the weekend, right? They played Liverpool like outside. I mean, I don't really want to count the FA Cup, but we should. But I don't really want to. But in the Premier League, we've been able to keep up with them. I don't know if Salah's going to play. Everybody thinks he will, and that's usually the case, right? I mean, he's out. Arsenal's coming up. He's healthy, so we should plan for him. But in reality, we just need to play our game. We give ourselves enough opportunities. We just need to be more clinical and put the ball in the net, man. Put the ball in the net.
Yeah.
And you know what? Do it early, please. I rather hold on tight to the win and try to, be sitting there with my heart pounding.
Get that goal after 60 seconds, like the previous fixture last year.
Just do what we got to do quickly and efficiently.
At this point, Gary, when you say clinical, don't you feel like you're saying something dirty? Because we've been talking about it for a year and a half.
No,
we're not clinical.
Yes. Well, it needs to show through at some point. Hopefully it's this one because we need to start a run at some point. Like if we're gonna make a run, this is a good one, right? We've won the last 2 matches. We need to go out there and do the job. Arteta, like I said, if Partey is healthy and can play, he needs to get some proper minutes. And hopefully if he doesn't start, maybe he comes in to settle things down. Because that's the one thing he will do is settle things down, and then maybe you let Rice handle all the business, right? All the critical things as far as closing down and stuff like that, and you let Partey control that middle and push things up the pitch through the middle, because nobody wants to do it. Everybody's scared of that middle. Partey on the half turn going through the middle with 2 players on him, he's fine with that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we need some of that, and that's what we're missing. So I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing him if he's back. If they keep saying he's close, we'll see how close he is, because this is it. If he's close enough to get a shirt, he should get one on this go around, right? I don't think he was on the bench last game, right? So if he's healthy enough to get a shirt, that means he gives us 30-40 minutes at the least. So we need that, and Saka usually shows up for these types of games. We need him. He started looking a little bit promising in the last game. We need to see him do what he's done before in these types of games. Yeah. And
Is there
Rice is another time for Rice to show up for us, right? We need him. And our center backs, I'm not too concerned, but they've been consistent most of the season, so expect the same things from them as well.
So
Right
because,
here,
go ahead, Tony.
who are you starting at that left 8 row? Is it gonna be Partey or is it gonna be
If
Smith Rowe?
Partey's healthy, he starts for me. If
Yeah,
he's
but we
not,
need
then
to attack. Our
if
defense isn't that
if
big of
not,
an
then
issue.
I'm fine with Jorginho starting because I think he's a little bit more.
Over at Mill Smith
He
Rowe.
will push the ball forward in a game like this. Like we need. I think we need to control that middle a lot more. I think this is the reason why you got Jorginho for this right here. That's what you got him for. If Emil Smith Rowe isn't there yet, which he started his first game in a year and a half.
Mm.
You know what? This is a big game. Jorginho has been there 4 years and has played in these types of games coming off the bench, right? He played against City, having not played for a bit, and he played well. Around him, people were crazy. Things were going around him, but I think this is what you got him for. So this is when you actually I got you for these types of situations. Bring him in there and let him play.
Isn't he very underused? Because to me,
I think he can't. I don't think we can use him. I don't want to overuse him. I don't think
isn't he like El Nini? He's give you the 7 or 8. He's
Now-
always consistent.
Stan,
Dan,
get your pen
Yeah?
out again. Get your
put him
pen.
on the list.
Get your pen. He's going for double. He's going for a double here. Yeah.
Listen, you're allowed to say on any on this podcast.
You can't compare El Neni and Jorginho together, sir.
No,
you
you
can't
can't.
do that.
No,
Come on, Tony. Oh no! Now,
Usually make the noise.
Jorginho is brought in for this reason right here. Trossard was brought in for this reason right here. You know what? Trossard had a hat trick at Anfield, and he couldn't get a minute. Couldn't get a
What
sniff.
I was going for, Gary, is the
Yeah.
fact that El Nini and Jorginho do not make mistakes. They're solid.
You're not comparing those two.
I seem to remember. Can I say something? I seem to remember when we played Tottenham at the start of the season that as soon as we got the penalty, Jorginho decided to lay the ball off to Son to score their equaliser.
Yeah.
In this game, I'm trusting Jorginho because guess what? You can probably say the same thing about a lot of our other players. In that game, everybody was given that team their opportunity to come back in that game. You know what I mean? So, think about it. Jesus decided he didn't want to put a ball on target in front of the box, right? Remember that? That's no different than the little pass to that team. So, I kind of feel like Jorginho, this is what we got him for. This is why you bring him in. All right. So, if Partey's healthy, you play him.
Champions League winner, isn't he?
He's got the experience, right?
Got to use that experience, exactly. That's why we bought him. You're right, Gary.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, if Trossard if Trossard was part of a regular rotation, he might play. Like for me, Trossard is as close as we're going to get to a Jota. He just is not as clinical as his Jota, right? So, but we don't have anybody that's clinical.
So if Partey's not available, and it might even be too much to rush him back. Would you like to see Jorginho playing as the 6 and then Rice as the left 8 next to Odegaard?
I would.
It wouldn't be horrible. Would not be horrible. Emil Smith Rowe in there with Rice and Odegaard as well. I wouldn't be against that either. But I think Gary's right. Midweek game for Emil Smith Rowe. He's had 65 minutes, and then asking him to follow up with a big game on Sunday might be a bridge too far.
But didn't we kind of mess up Tuesday by not taking more of those risks and gambles and trying with different formations or players?
Like what, for instance?
Tuesday, you should have been able to change it up. Rest players like Saka doesn't have to be playing against the 16th ranked team on the table.
But we needed his goal because we have 80% possession in games and we don't kill teams off. We don't get that third goal enough.
But how terrible is that, Ray? 19 shots, 3 on target.
That's bad. That's bad.
I could do that hopping around on my one leg.
We like I said at the beginning of the podcast, we're at a very seminal part in our league right now after 22 games in the Premier League. Sunday will give us an idea of where our season's going to go, and it's got to be another strong performance, fast performance. We got to play Liverpool like we played them 16 years ago.
The thing that's really helped us is we've turned around our things on free kicks and corners because of the first part of this half of the season we were there.
All right, but now let's open up the free flowing football because Liverpool are going to come to play as well. They're not going to play in a low block, So that's something where we need to start showing that we can score goals from open play. It's great to score.
That's why I have Zinchenko in there. Just get all your good offensive players in there.
I don't get this. What is it? Tell me how you quantify Zinchenko and what that equates to in goals.
He looked very good. He got a lot of good passes.
No. I don't. No. How does Zinchenko on the pitch quantify in goals? Like, when is the last time you looked at one of the goals that we scored and said Zinchenko started this thing? And
he did.
Which goal? Like you mean the throw-in, right? Is that what you mean? That one throwing?
He's not the guy who's going to be given
this body of work in this season. How often have you gone Zinchenko on the pitch? Is the reason why we scored these goals.
He's getting the hockey assists, which I hate saying.
I don't know
which
one. Do I help him or not?
You mean the ones before the free kicks that we scored in the one game? Is that what you mean? Because I remember Raya putting the ball out long, right, in a game. Like I would like to, for his defensive deficiencies, we need to score a lot more to cover that, and we don't. So like I said, I don't think he gives us enough in the way of goals at the end of the day to quantify him being on the pitch because his defense always seems to give up a goals here and there every other game. It seems, right? Yep. That's the only way it can justify it to me. Like Trent Alexander-Arnold is a case in point. He gets you opportunities to score. You just got to put your head on it, right? You just got to be in the box when he crosses it, but because it's coming. Zinchenko, when do you go? All right, he made the pass before the pass, and we had an opportunity to score. I don't think that happens enough.
Isn't it crazy though, Ray? At this point last February, in December, me and you kept talking about Zinchenko was very legitimately the player of the season.
Yeah.
Now Arteta's changed the
He was playing well. He wasn't getting found out, but teams.
You weaken your midfield.
But
you put a lot of pressure on your back line. Come on, it happens all the time, right? That's what just happened.
How
you weaken your midfield, and now your fullbacks have to shine, and he can't. He's not.
Well,
he can't overcome that.
We were in the midst of winning these 7 games last season between game 22 and 29, Gary. We lost to City at home at the Emirates. We beat Aston Villa 4-2. A little bit of luck from a Jorginho shot off Emi's back of his head. We beat Leicester. Zinchenko was instrumental in beating Everton 4-0. But then teams started to find Zinchenko out by that Bournemouth pass over his head. Lost a goal against Bournemouth in the first minute. And then that happened against Liverpool, West Ham, and Southampton. So
it's gonna happen this weekend. They put Zinchenko out there. How many long balls?
You know it, right?
How many long balls are they going to put on that side on the left side of our defense? It's like there's going to be arrows pointing. You know how you have the arrows? There'll be arrows pointing over Zinchenko. Just pass it over here because he won't go. He won't attack that ball in the air. He won't at least maybe bring the attacker down before he has an opportunity. Right? It never happens. So it's That's why he has to make up for it on the other end, and I don't think he does. So,
No.
yeah.
It's the most obvious deficiency we have in the team defensively, and it's obvious to us, but nobody seems to do anything about it until
it's like playing with a ball, playing with a bullseye. Everyone can see it. It's just like there, right there.
Mhm.
Woo, 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 woo.
Pass the ball over Zinchenko's head, you know. Okay, so we'll get out of here in the next few minutes, but I suppose we have to catch up and talk about Mikel Arteta staying at Arsenal and Jurgen Klopp leaving Liverpool at the end of the season. That was a strange one, right? When Klopp announced he'll be leaving at the end of the season. I mean, obviously, I hope it's not a health issue against him, but
I just think he's worn out. I think he just, he's been there for nearly 10 years.
Yeah.
And I think he just needs a change of lifestyle. Maybe he wants to go back to Germany and I don't know, manage the German team, or maybe he'll be offered a job somewhere else in another country.
Yeah.
But I just think I believe it. He just got burnt out.
Really,
if you're doing the same, if you're doing the same thing for 10 years, yeah, you are going to get burnt out, aren't you?
Yeah.
I think apparently as well that he spoke to them from last November, telling the higher ups his feelings. And I think the only reason it came out now and not at the end of the season is because they probably got wind that there'd been a leak and it was going to come out, and they wanted to bring it out themselves and control the narrative.
Right.
Rather than let it come out, a backhanded way, and then they have to respond. Otherwise, I think it probably would have come out at the end of the season.
And, also it's not hurting them that it's giving them a little bit of a boost. They beat Fulham in the second leg of the Carabao Cup, and they've progressed against Norwich City, And
but when does that boost become a burden? It's a big light they've got shined on them now, and a lot of people are going, "Oh, it could be a boost," but I also think that now, it could actually be the other way. You've got this thing that you're trying to live up to, and what if it's a case where some of the players are like, "Oh, he's leaving us here," and they're kind of like, "Well, fuck, what happens to me then? Am I gonna, And you're not concentrating on your job. You got other things in your mind, right? You got family. You're maybe you're from another country and you live in England, and you're thinking, "Oh, what does this mean?" Do you know what I'm getting at? There could be some kind of distraction that way.
They've
you got
got
somebody like a Nunes, right? Who's one of his last big buys for a lot of money. Maybe he could think, what if the next guy that he could be thinking, what if the next guy comes in and doesn't fancy me? I've just moved here from wherever and I'm just settling. These things could be in the back of your mind, so you never know. Could be a hindrance rather than a boost.
Yeah. Well, right now it's looking good for them, and I am not. They are not my second team, Stan. I just happen to admire what they've done over the years. They're not a plastic club. They're not a classic club. They are, traditional, one of the traditional clubs, and and they've been up there fighting with Man City. So, Brownie said Klopp leaving reminds me of when Dalglish stepped down. Souness never stood a chance, and the same with Emery after Wenger and Moyes after Ferguson. Yeah. So, Gary, we'll see what's Stan?
Everybody after Ferguson so far.
Everybody, yeah. What are they on, 9 or 10 right now? After
they
Ferguson?
Tried everything. They tried seasoned professionals with CVs fucking hanging out the yin yang. They've tried anointed ones. Do you know what I mean? They've tried ex-players. They've gone through the whole fucking smorgasbord, and it's just not happening.
True.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the search continues for them, and the pursuit of excellence continues for Arsenal on Sunday. Gary, what's your take on Jurgen Klopp?
Yeah, well, No, I just like you said, he's tired, so he's
In
ready to
40
go. But
words or less.
you
Go
know,
ahead.
he's probably tired of trying to fight this machine that is City, and it's
Yeah.
worn him down. He's done as people have said, he's done as well as he can in the circumstances. In another year, in another decade, he would have, a different decade, he may have had 3 and 4 titles where his teams had played, right? So it's probably worn him down. It's time to move on. And yeah. So now I think it's going to be difficult for everybody who plays Liverpool now. Everybody. City was
You
the only
think
team
they're on
that
that wave? You think
City's
they're
the only team
riding?
that can keep up with it. They think about the way they finished the last season, right? They just continued that this season. Now they just got a little elixir to you know what? A little that extra boost, right?
Yeah.
You're seeing that like this Bradley kid comes out of nowhere as far as we're concerned and is shining for them when they need it. Jota answers the call every time he comes on the pitch. Salah's always there, right? Van Dijk always there. Allison always there. I mean, they've got 3 solid players they can lean on for the rest of this season, plus a lot of kids, a lot of young players around them they can just bring off the bench and answer the call every so often, right? So they got all that. They got what they need. City has has KDB, Haaland, and has their goalkeeper and everything. Becker. So do I have that right?
Edison. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it will be Arsenal if they go out there and surprise. Yes, then we could be part of that game. That that fight for the top. But it's going to be hard. We have to play so much better than we played all season. Right.
Yeah.
We got to play for 90 minutes because they will. A draw, having them draw late would be detrimental to what we want to do. It might give us a little bit, but we need to get the 3 points. We need to cut it to that deficit that is 5 points right now. We can't let it stay at 5. We need to go in there. Arteta needs to play. His life's on the line. His job's on the line, right? The season's on the line. All of that kind of stuff. Though we got 5 subs, make sure they count. Don't waste it. Like for like, when you're down a goal, doesn't make any sense. Going offensive when you've got a lead and you're trying to hold on doesn't make sense. So he's got to make the right decision. So yeah. So
there's a lot to chew on that. But I think look at Liverpool; they're 5 points clear. Have they had a blip? Probably not. They haven't really had any poor patch of form. Could that happen to them? It could happen at some point, but they are probably built in a better way to keep going and chugging along and beating teams and getting results. There's only 2 times in the season where you can affect your opponent, and that's when you play them directly in the league. We've taken a point at Anfield. It's so important now to get 3 points at the Emirates against this Liverpool team to slightly change the narrative a little bit, and that feel-good feeling with Klopp hopefully could slow down. But I think Gary's right. There is an elixir going on right now, and there's a good feeling. And the Premier League certainly seemed to be buying into the whole fan fest of Jurgen Klopp and the storyline behind it,
I think if Liverpool, though, looking at us and them going into a game head to head, they just have more options in their attack, don't they?
Yeah.
They've got so many. They've got more options. You've got what? You've got Salah, Nunez, Jota, Akpo.
All they need is a Jota. That's the problem.
Jota.
That's all they need.
They've got this variety of players that they can a bit of variety. Whereas we've just got this. We've got what we've got, and we need to hope that every game, that Martinelli and Saka are on it, and Jesus is also on it. Because if Jesus isn't on it, then we bring in Eddie. That's it. That's the option. That is it. Good night, Vienna. Boom. That's it.
It just looks easier for Liverpool because of the players that they have. The decisions, probably the decisions that they make, those players make, and the type of football they play that's a little bit more direct. I think Liverpool fans don't like when you call their team a long ball team, but they are direct. You know what I mean? They don't like
but they
that.
have players that can finish, and they've got a variety. I mean, what I would kill to have a Jota in our squad. He every time he comes onto the pitch, he scores. But how often does he start? There's always someone starting ahead of him, right?
Yeah.
But he comes off the bench and he causes damage. We don't have that. We don't have that edge. Do you know what I mean? When we're playing and we're struggling, you know, we're up against Liverpool. And we've got our 80% fucking possession, and we're fucking 20 odd shots, but only 3 on target, and we're sweating and that, you know. And it's getting into the 75th minute, and then they make a substitution and they take off Gakpo and bring on Jota. We were like, oh, for fuck's sake. When it's us, when we're in that, you know, when it's us in that situation, and they see us make a change, and a team sees us bringing on Eddie, they don't have that same reaction. They probably go, do you know what I mean? We should be able to see this one through.
Look, here's Kevin all the way from Ireland. I did a podcast with him before Christmas, Spider LFC. What's crack-a-lackin', lads? Hope you boys are ready for Sunday. We have to be ready, Kev. We have to be ready for Liverpool at the Emirates. And I think it'll be a cracking game, you know. But Liverpool fans right now, they've got confidence behind their team, and we don't have that confidence yet, Lawrence, until they show us something this season. Arsenal have not shown it to us this season consistently.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly. You know, part of me is dreading watching the game on Sunday.
Yeah,
but
it's an interesting.
I like to think I'm positive, but the thought of facing that front line.
I've seen your Twitter.
That's got me.
The point of facing that front line of those players puts the bejesus up me as well, because you know what's going to happen, don't you? I mean, we are miles behind Liverpool and Man City. We're miles.
We're not as consistent as them. I think that's the difference.
That's part of
I
the
mean, we were linked. I remember we were linked with Darwin Núñez a couple of years ago. Why didn't we go out and get him?
Stan broke the whole thing. That's why he's at Liverpool now. Stan did it.
Thanks, Stan.
Think about how much Gakpo cost them, right?
What?
Gakpo and Diaz.
40.
Right? I mean, they've got players that are in our price range, and we didn't go out and even think that we could get them, right?
Tielemans could have got him. Tielemans could have got him for Freemans.
Kevin
Tielemans for Freemans.
Kevin said potentially the best game of the season if you come at us. If you sit back, we'll punish you. Well, the best game of the season was
about that. Think about that. We could have had Tielemans on a free, but we decided that we had to. We had to go to Chelsea and give him 65 million for Kai Havertz. We had to do it. That was the first thing we needed to do. I mean, come on, look. Just as a bit of a disclaimer, right? I'm not an Arteta out. I'm not an Arteta in. I just support Arsenal, and I like Arteta, but I'm not afraid to hold him to account when he does things that I'm thinking like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? That's just who I am. I don't go out to Discord, and I praise him.
Where's your
time as well.
meter at now? Is it like 50-50? Is it like dead center?
It's kind of like this. It's fluttering right now.
It's like when Arsene Wenger went out and got Kim Kallstrom. Remember what Kim?
Yeah.
You know, that was a great smells of Arsene Wenger. buys a player who's injured, kicking a beach ball, and we never got to saw him. We never got to see him play.
Didn't he? Penalty.
Yeah, in the penalty shootout. Yeah, that's it. And what was the other one? There was
For me, right, my whole
There's
world went
lots of
full
players
circle
with
because I
that,
can remember
even-
back in the late 90s on the very first Football Manager, where on the Amiga we had like 5 discs. Kim Kallstrom, mate, was the daddy. He went full circle. He finally, if you play Football Manager from the early days, you know about Kim Kallstrom. It was just like, got to get that guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
And
then he
you
came
know,
to us back.
Kevin said,
Ah,
Stan alerted the world.
The one that really makes me laugh is we needed to get Cedric Suarez in so badly from Southampton, right? Rather than wait just a few months and get him for free, we thought, no, we want him now, and here's 5 million. Now look at the pickle,
Then within that time,
that we are
Stan,
in. Look at the pickle that we are in now. How many times has we said, we found you a home, and he's gone like, nah. Do you know what I mean? And fair play, he's making corn. He's making money. He's got to look out for himself. It's
Somebody
his job.
estimated he's made like 17 mil sitting on the bench for Arsenal. 17.
Is that his fault?
Yeah.
Is that his fault?
No.
He didn't create the contract himself, did he? And print it off. He was just asked to sign it. It was thrown under his nose, and they said, "Would you like to sign this?" And he was like, "Fucking not off."
But wasn't that such a major mistake? Because we got him and Mari together. We got him and Mari together, and like you said, we could have got him on a free, but instead we give him all 4-year contracts.
Mm-hmm. Listen, at the time we were, we were not in the greatest shape.
But you know what? That's when you have to be picky, man.
Decisions, right?
You have to be picky about what you do. We're not picky.
Yeah.
You know,
well,
like there was nothing about Cedric Suarez that said yes, he's going to answer. There was not enough on Mari to say yes, he's going to make the answer, right? Havertz, nothing, right? Nothing from Havertz. No, he doesn't answer anything for us, right?
Tavares.
Right? Lakonga, what does he answer? No, Nuno, what does he answer? Vieira, we can't even get him on the pitch. I mean, like, all these guys have all these questions they can't answer for us, right?
But I don't see how Vieira is ever to get in there. He's so tiny.
We can't make that. He can't, you know what? It's in your head.
Cazorla was tiny.
It's in your head.
Cazorla was tiny.
If he want, like, I bet you when he was playing back in
Lucas Torreira was tiny.
Portugal, right?
Yeah,
I bet you was playing. I bet he was playing against guys.
Cazorla was small, but he was still stocky and strong.
It's a mental thing.
Because Cazorla is 10 times better.
Yeah.
Cazorla was 10 times better than Vieira.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like out my teabag drum.
It's not even right putting them in the same sentence.
Right?
So
He
can't put them in the same
looks like
sentence.
a beanstalk.
He's got something.
He's so skinny.
I have seen flashes of it in teabag.
He's like a sack of bones out
and to think we could have got Tielemans instead of Vieira. We were supposed to be getting Tielemans. Every newspaper was saying Tielemans for Arsenal. It's looking good, right? And the next thing, we're signing this unknown from Portugal.
Yeah. The only questions you're gonna have for Spider LFC is like, can you sit Jota for the entire game? You know, can you do that? Can you keep Trent on that fullback role? I don't need him traveling anywhere near the midline.
You can kidnap. You can maybe it's a bad word. Kidnap. You could detain one of the detain one of the Liverpool players.
I'm not sure if that's any better. Right?
You should know, Tony.
Can you hold Salah at the airport?
Yeah.
If he's anywhere near playable, he's gonna play, and that's not good. So Trent might not even start. So see, this is the thing. This is the thing, though. They have all these players that may not play, that might give us an advantage. Arteta will look at it like they still have all their top players.
We still have an ace up our sleeve, Ray. We can go for the bad lasagna.
He made the nose back or flown.
We need lasagna gate. Yeah.
But I mean,
I'll tell you what.
Everybody thought we were
I'll tell you what.
Fifth.
Yeah. Brownie.
I'll tell you what.
He was in bad taste. Yes. Sorry.
I'll tell you what. We need We need Yaya Sanogo. That's a
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like I said, Arteta just needs to surprise us on the weekend because we're not. I don't know how we're supposed to feel going into this one. You know what I mean? Like nothing in the last two games showed like we won them, but how do I take how we played and say, you know what, we do that against Liverpool, we win, because I don't think we had enough of those moments, right? I don't think we had enough of those moments. Can we beat them in the air? I don't know. They've got a guy called Van Dijk, right? Who seems to be available. They've got Allison sitting back there who seems to be able to, pick things out of the sky. So I just that's why we have to, Arteta's gonna have to bring something special. Get these guys up for this game. It's for me, it's just a mental thing. Get these guys up for the game. They need to feel that they can win. They've done it. They just did it last year.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They went up 3-1 and were able to hold on tight, right?
We
need to be able to do that again.
We went to Anfield and maybe we were for large parts of the game we were the better team.
Look, can I ask you a question, right? Do you believe that Gabriel? Do you think in your heart, we could have this match and Gabriel Jesus could score 2 goals? Do you think to yourself, yeah? See, that's not good enough, is it? It's not good enough. I'm getting at. We should. Why is that? Why are we in this situation where we've got a striker? Do you know what I mean? And we're not like, on his day he can get us 2 goals.
It's the Arsenal way. We just never seem to have enough.
What's horrible, Ray?
It's not good enough, man. For Arsenal,
what's horrible?
I'm sorry. And I like Gabriel Jesus. I like him, but come on, man. We have to be fucking honest about things. We have to be honest. Ray. Why are we not in that situation?
Yeah, definitely, Stan. Hopefully in the summer, but we keep saying hopefully.
Putting it all on Saka.
Hopefully this
be the one.
Yeah.
Saka or Martinelli. Why can't it be our striker?
Tony, what do you got?
You got Andy, who is our lone striker at this point, and Lord Bettner was a better player, scored more goals. He scored like 58 goals for us or whatever it was. I mean, that's just such a big deal on Arteta. It's like you gotta get people that get the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah, and it's got to be more fluid.
Tony, Bentley's not coming back.
I'd like to think I'm an optimistic kind of person too, Lawrence. But I've seen Jesus score. It has happened. I've seen the Lord score. I've seen Jesus score.
Yeah.
Hallelujah.
Yeah. I mean, we're gonna have to get goals from everywhere, but we're gonna really need to put pressure on them from our front line, or else they're gonna kill us in the sense that we have to be defensively solid. I don't think we can do that.
Well, basically,
as well. I forgot about him.
This Sunday's going to determine whether our season is going to be successful or not.
Absolutely.
Because if we don't get the result, then we've just got the Champions League to go for.
Yeah, you don't want to be.
You know what? And I always say things happen in threes, right? Things happen in threes. We lost 3 in a row, right? A couple of games ago.
Yeah.
If we lose this one, it might mentally.
How about winning 3?
We need to win all the way through.
No, you said things happen in threes.
I know. So, but you know what? We need to win. We need to win out. That's what we need to do. Once again, we can't. We can't lose 3 in a row for sure. But we need to win the rest of the games, right? We're at 22. We win 22. We need to win the next 16. Come on.
Lawrence,
there's more chance of me.
Sorry, go on.
I said there's more chance of me going out on a date with Kim Kardashian than there is of us winning 3 in a row.
Well, she's on the West Coast, isn't she?
Yeah, I know.
Listen, don't worry about it.
You know what? It's all in your head, Lawrence. Lawrence, walk up to her, Lawrence, and say, "Hey, babe," and then then she's melted.
Yeah. Take it from me, right? Take it from me. Don't worry about it. She's a cheap date. She doesn't eat much.
That's good. I'll take it to McDonald's.
There you go. All right, Tony.
Can I just say as well? Here's a key difference. If I say to you, he's gonna be our front 3 against Liverpool, we can just name them. But if I say to you, who's going to be Liverpool's front three, we don't know.
And you know what?
We don't
It
know.
doesn't matter. You know what? It
We
doesn't
don't
matter.
know.
But it doesn't matter. That's the problem. We don't have one of those problems where, you know what? Put in anybody in our front line
We
and
ain't
we're
got
okay.
that though. But we don't
We
have that. It's like everybody knows who it's going to be. Everyone knows.
Yeah.
Put two in Saka. Everybody knows. Targets
I mean,
Zinchenko.
at this point,
Everybody knows.
none of the teams have to watch tape of Arsenal. It's like they know what Arsenal's gonna do. So like,
Yeah. Arteta needs to switch things up, and he doesn't get it.
We haven't done predictions, have we?
Yeah.
Predictions before we leave.
Okay. I'll go for a 2-1 win. There you go.
I need that's like too much of a heartache for me.
Who's going to be realistic?
I'm going to. Oh, we're gonna be. I don't want to be realistic. I'm going 2-0.
Right.
I'm going 2-0 here.
2-0.
We go up 2 and we just hold on, and they hit they hit all the woodwork they want.
Darwin hits the woodwork. Yeah, he's good at that.
Okay.
We'll go around. You get the last word, Lawrence. Dan.
Okay.
I find it difficult to give a score, but I will say this: I don't think Arsenal's getting 3 points. That's what I'll say. I just don't see us getting 3 points. I can't tell you what the score will be, but we are not going to get the 3 points. I want us to, and if we get those 3 points, man, I will be fucking jumping up and down in my living room at eight.
Let it jump around. You said we weren't.
Nothing.
You're not. You can't jump.
Then right after the game, we'll go live. Tony, think
I'm with Stan there. As I say, it's either 1 point or no points.
All right, 2 positive, 2 non-positives. Lawrence.
Okay, well, since you took my scoreline, I'm just going to go with the famous song, 1-0 to the Arsenal.
There you go. Who said you're not positive? Right?
Maybe 3-1 Liverpool.
Hey.
I don't know.
All right.
I'm not feeling it.
My advice would be to enjoy the game. Don't fear. Don't fear. It's just a game.
Yeah, nobody wants to hear that nonsense.
All right, Gary. Thanks for joining. Thanks for turning your camera on halfway through the podcast.
I'm spider.
Ray's like, why the fuck didn't you have it on the whole time?
What?
I said, you're like, why the fuck didn't you have your camera on the whole time, Gary?
I don't know. He was probably eating like Alonso. Who knows?
Are you sure he wasn't riding his Peloton seat?
No,
right,
not sure.
Kill the show.
Hey, good night, Tony.
Good night, Tony.
All right, Stan, thanks for joining. Lawrence.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah, Michael.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We're still going, but we're out of here right now. It's Michael. We will see you guys on Sunday. Take care, everybody. Let's get that result. Come on, you Gooners.